everybody.
Yelly.
Hello, hello. Welcome to the first Tuesday edition. I had to change it up a bit.
We've done this Thursday, Friday, Saturday, I think even Sunday.
Probably.
Probably.
At this point, we're becoming the NFL almost every day of the week.
Yes. I'm so glad we're doing it on Tuesdays. It makes sense from my perspective from a couple different angles. Just that I know we like to talk about the weekend, and by the time Thursday rolls around, it's like a whole week has happened basically.
Yeah.
A whole 10 days in those 4 days. And this makes more sense. And you're a little bit under the weather, but feeling good.
I'd say at this point I'm like 95% good.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I had a real rough 12 hours. I got a real high temperature, super chills, like could not get out of bed.
Yeah.
But then it just broke, and I've been fine pretty much ever since. My temps crept up a little, but not into any realm that's I'd be like, wow, I'm really sick.
Mm-hmm.
But at this point, it really just kind of feels like I'm maybe a little dehydrated, which would be normal from coming out of having a fever. Like, I sweated a bunch in bed.
Yeah.
And then also, I feel a little achy, but that's also, I think, because my bed is absolute crap, and I was in there for basically like 16 hours yesterday.
Yeah.
So I got up kind of like just sore, but that's just from laying down for too long.
Mm-hmm.
But otherwise, I mean, I feel basically back to normal now. So, it's only been, 27, 28 hours since the onset of it. And I'm back to feeling pretty much good to go.
Well, I'm glad. And you've tested negative for COVID this whole time.
Multiple
Or I wouldn't
times.
be here. But Saturday we came over. We had like a birthday bonanza this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
And Saturday came over. And I guess I didn't... When I came over Thursday, Jeremy was sequestered because he wasn't feeling well.
I wouldn't say he was sequestered, but he was just like not partaking in some activities just to avoid cross-contamination.
Well, I didn't like hear or see him. And then we came over Saturday afternoon around 4. And just like the first words out of his mouth was like, "How you feeling, Jer?" Because he was real raspy.
Oh, okay, no, I remember. Yeah, he took a nap after work because he was just kind of worn out.
Yeah.
But he woke up from that feeling fine.
Yeah. Except for his voice was all jacked.
Well, yeah, but that's just, he'd been dealing with that for a few days
And
since he
then
got back.
you had mentioned on that same Thursday that you had gotten a Chuck E. Cheese pizza.
Yeah.
So, Ash, let's see, when you said you weren't feeling good,
Mm-hmm.
I told Ash, like, it's probably like eating that rat pizza. And Ash was like, what the hell are you talking about? And I had to explain to her that you're eating Chuck E. Cheese pizza.
Hey, okay, one, that Chuck E. Cheese pizza was a lot better than I'd ever thought it was going to be. And two, I had that pizza after we talked about it that night.
Mm-hmm.
So I had it on Thursday.
Yeah.
So, and I was fine until Monday afternoon.
It was getting funnier and funnier for me because she was like, "What are you talking about?" And I was like, "Chuck E. Cheese pizza. What are you talking about?" And then I sent her the picture you sent me, which is the Chuck E. Cheese rat on the pizza box. This is like, we're selling pizza with a picture of a rat on it.
Mouse.
Okay. So it just got increasingly absurd. So I'm glad you're feeling better, is the bottom line.
Yeah.
But yeah, birthday weekend was
Mm-hmm.
phenomenal. It was really great. Had a good time. Saturday, didn't do the 22-mile ruck. I did like a 2-mile run and 100 push-ups. And some of that was my hip was bugging me. Some of it was I got a whiff of the weather coming up for this weekend. And I was like, oh yeah, that's the weekend to do it. But we'll get into that in a bit. Watched Tropic Thunder, which I did not know Ashley had never seen. I assumed she'd watch it with us because I know we had seen it before.
I think I've only seen it once, and I'm pretty sure I was by myself in my room when I was sick, like 12, 13 years ago.
Came out in 2008.
So, yeah, I hardly remembered a lot of it.
Amazing movie. Love it to death. Hysterical.
It's one of those movies where I'm just like, I guess whoever was doing the movie just like all the A-list actors liked them because it had like all the A-list actors in it, and you know they all can't be getting paid their normal freight because that would bankrupt the movie.
Right.
So like, how do they all get in there? I don't know.
Excellent from start to finish. I love like how it opens with the faux trailers.
Yeah.
Perfect. And then actually having not seen it, we were working on that damn puzzle while the movie was on, and she was just constantly like, what the hell? She was just constantly like flabbergasted by it. And for good reason. So that was a great joy for me. And then pizza and number of cool presents. TCU game didn't go the way I wanted it to.
Yeah.
But we took a shot every time TCU scored a touchdown, so we still had fun.
I got pretty drunk. I didn't realize, because I was also drinking beers on the side, and so I guess I was just on beer drinking autopilot, so I kind of was just drinking my normal amount of beer, but then throw on multiple shots on top of that. I definitely was feeling it the next day.
Yeah. I wasn't feeling it that much. Like, I was in a good mood.
Yeah.
And then had a shot, like, before we left.
Mm-hmm.
I still felt like I could have drove, but there was, like, there's no way that I could justify, like, if I did get pulled over, like, I took a shot, like, right before getting behind the wheel.
Right.
Yeah. So, Ash drove us home, and then what happened?
Then
watched some TV on our new TV, yeah. And then Sunday was just a great day. So the NFL did this Toy Story Pixar NFL mashup where the first game of the day was at 8:30 our time because it was in London, England.
Mm-hmm.
And they used...
not to be confused with London, Texas.
used... I guess not really like AI is probably too strong a word for it, but like an augmented reality. They made their what's the word for it? Like models, 3D models in a 3D world.
They basically real time animated the game. Like it was an animation of the game.
I think that gives the wrong impression because I think they had their models and then like what the models were going and where they should do. That was linked to what the cameras were saying, but it's not like it was a literal interpretation of what was on the field because there was a lot of like miscues and
it was very close to a literal representation of what was on the field.
You
as good as technology could get it.
Yeah, like, you could tell like the next time they do it, it's gonna be pretty seamless. Yeah. But they did definitely open up like the first 10 minutes with technical difficulties.
But honestly, it was just so good. I hardly know. I mean, I noticed the technical difficulties, but I couldn't care less.
Oh, so Jeremy's not a morning person. Ash is not a morning person.
Yeah.
I woke up and got some pan dulce and huevos rancheros and breakfast tacos and basically just you and me watched the Atlanta Jags Toy Story game.
Yep.
It was great. It was that great combination of like football and nostalgia. And
yeah.
Had them side by side, the Toy Story broadcast and the regular broadcast. Synced those up. That was cool.
And Duke Kaboom had an amazing halftime
performance, yeah. Some after halftime action as well.
Uh-huh.
So, Toy Story, great place to start. And we will see if they do Toy Story again, or if they do, like, what's the next intellectual property that makes sense to do a football field that might also appeal to children.
I mean, I think there's a ton that you could do, but it would be just a matter of, like, what needs promotion right now. Mm-hmm. Like what's big out in the Disney Pixar streets right now.
Yeah.
But I mean, they could do a lot. Like they could do like a Cars one.
Cars was the very next thing I thought of.
I mean, I don't know. They have a ton of stuff.
Yeah.
I could list them off. But...
you can just do like a Disney Dreamlight Valley sort of thing.
Yeah, just have a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
Have like the quarterback be like Mickey Mouse, but like with the jersey of the actual quarterback on. And... oh yeah, you remember how like one of the players on the field, his animated jersey said unknown on the back?
Yeah.
Because it was just some no-name player. They
didn't
linked up. Like, who is that?
There's all kind of weird issues like that, but all in all, yeah.
A+ from me.
Okay.
4 stars.
And then I ended up like taking a nap after that, like during the noon games. But the noon games were all great, and then Cowboys played at 3:30.
Oh, can I interject something really
Yes,
fast?
please.
So in that time, after that, we were done watching that game. I left, and you went and napped, and Jeremy and I went and got lunch, and if you can believe it or not, that was the first time in my life I've ever had Long John Silver's.
Oh, yeah.
Very first time.
So this is something I give Ashley a hard time for. She grew up on it and loves it, and I just think it's disgusting.
When's the last time you had it? Well, I mean, you couldn't enjoy it. You don't like fried food that's tasty, except for like your fried chicken. But you're kind of a little too snobby to like Long John Silver's, I'd say.
I'll own that. Yeah, it's pretty far below me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was really good for me. I really liked it. I mean, it was better than I thought it was going to be. And that's the whole reason I never had it, because I always thought it was beneath me as well. Especially because I worked at Red Lobster for eons.
Right.
So I was like, I'm not going to eat Long John Silver's. That's trash. But then I got to thinking about it, and it's like, when I was working at Red Lobster, and I'm standing in the freezer, like, it's just boxes and bags of frozen fish and frozen shrimp, and that's all it is there, I'm sure, too. So it's like, I don't really know what to tell you the difference is, but...
I wholly identify with those memes that are like, who is keeping Long John Silver's open in a business?
The person in front of us in the line was keeping them open. We went through drive-thru, and person in front of us ordered like $60 worth of Long John Silver's. And Long John Silver's is not that expensive, so you can imagine how much food they got for $60. It took so long.
Yeah.
But yeah, Long John Silver's. I'd go there again. I mean, I don't know if I'll ever go like just on my own accord. Oh, I want this, but if it's like ever brought up, I'll go again.
Word.
So I'm sorry. And Cowboys game.
Yeah. So we got to do our full ritual in costumes, the pregame shot, the margaritas, and the stadium margarita cups. Made deviled eggs, which is a thing that we usually do. And the Cowboys just crushed the Patriots, which was good.
So much so, I wrote a song about it.
Yes. Go ahead.
I'm not gonna sing it, but it's titled "All About Them Boys" to the tune of Meghan Trainor's "It's All About That Bass." So
Yeah.
if you've heard that song, you can kind of figure it out.
It was delightful. And yeah, that was just great. Watching football on the big, beautiful TV has been wonderful.
Your new TV has a lot of colors.
Yeah. OLED for the win. Definitely pass on the QLED. Go for the OLED. Cash those credit card points in, y'all. Yeah, that was all amazing. And then it's Tuesday. I don't even know what I did yesterday. Yesterday was just a haze of, wow, that weekend was so great.
Very cool.
Yeah.
I'm glad you had a good time.
Oh yeah, I did notes for this. Make sure I didn't forget anything. Ash just went to work. Yep.
I was real excited you requested brownies as a dessert this year.
Yeah, you guys are very clear that you do not like the cobbler.
I mean, peaches, man, they gross me out, but I'm willing to work with them and make you a tasty cobbler whenever you want it.
If we did barbecue, it would have been cobbler, but we did pizza. And, that Via 313.
Yeah, that slapped.
Yeah, it's our favorite.
I mean, it's probably the best. The only other pizza I can even come close to is one that I only had once, and it wasn't all that long ago. And what was it called? I don't know. I'll have to look it up. But they do like a bunch of different kinds of pizzas, and I had a deep dish from there, and it was chef's kiss.
One of just all the things stacking on that birthday week being great. I completed my MBA on Tuesday.
I've been wondering about that. I knew
Last
you were
Tuesday.
close, but I was wondering, like, I knew you. Let me get my thoughts straight. I knew you were like busting your butt real hard on something for school, and in my head I was like, is this like the final thing? Because I'm pretty sure it was. He said it was getting real close to being done, but it's also kind of weird for a class to end, I guess, in the middle of a traditional semester.
That was the summer semester that just ended last week, and our final. So it's like a 11-week course, and it starts out with it's all group work, like the
Gross.
5 courses before this. Where it's like one group project per course.
Mm-hmm.
This one was, the first 2 weeks, I think, was like you write a report, and then you jump right into group work, where the second report is your group's plan to start a business in a different country. And it's not that in-depth. It's like just the project scheduling and the project management part of like construction and legal getting into a new country. The next like 6 weeks were okay with that same group. Here's a simulation of the global economy. You're responsible for developing. In this scenario, it was like at-home genetic testing, which is not a thing that is real, but
Yet.
that is broken up into 4 parts of research and development, marketing, production, and finance, and then each of those has its own like little subparts, where the R&D part, you're trying to design a product that meets the consumer expectations, and there's 2 different consumer segmentations of we want high-tech stuff, we want low-tech stuff. If it's low-tech, we care about the price more than anything. If it's high-tech, we care about the capabilities more than anything. And then having a production schedule that does that on time, blah, blah, blah. And then all the other parts kind of feed into each other. You do that for like 6 weeks, and it gets progressively more complex, where the first time is just in the US, the round 2 is global, is global among the people in the class, where there's like 6 teams, and you're competing against each other to get into the US, Germany, and China. And then the third round is that, but with students like all over the world, and you like get ranked for how well you do. And then then the last part of the course goes back to just being you, and it's okay, you're going to do that international business plan thing again, but instead of just the project management, now you need to take into consideration all of the components of a business plan. So the marketing part, which is hugely important, so like 10 pages on pick a country, pick a product, and then talk about the competitors in that field. So I did pacemakers, so had to like write up this is how well in the market penetration that like Abbott Labs and Boston Scientific and 2 others have. Here's how they're doing specifically in Brazil. In Brazil, here's the situation where before this started, we were talking about ChatGPT, and that was a great use case for it, where I was like, tell me about pacemakers and who buys them in Brazil. And that opened up a whole thing of, well, if you didn't know, Brazil is universal healthcare. It's the biggest application or the biggest use of government-funded universal healthcare in the world, because there's like 230 million people there. And so there is private health insurance and private hospitals, but the majority of folks and it's like a part of their constitution is that healthcare is a right. So they have these different Portuguese named agencies that it's the da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da, or the SUS. The da-da-da, their version of the FDA is the da-da-da-da-da, which the acronym is ANVIRA. So got to go research those and then do like proper citation and all of that. But it took a long time. And it was actually due the Tuesday after we got back from Colorado.
Yeah. And
then there's a week from then to the following week where if anything's late, you can turn it in. And then after that, if you're still not done, you can ask for an incomplete. And if you turn it in, then maybe it'll get changed to satisfactory. And I turned my stuff in the Sunday before the course itself ended. So I emailed the professor and was like, hey, do I need to ask for an incomplete? And the professor and I, this whole time, we were pretty tight. From the moment we did, like, introductions. And he was like, so is it John or is it Nathan? And I was like, well, my dad is John Nathan Pieper, and I'm, I go by Nathan, John Nathan Pieper the second. He was like, well, it's just like me. I was like, all right, we'll be fine. British dude, very, I think I talked about him, 11, 12 weeks ago or whatever, but very sarcastic, very much like somebody we used to know. And that place where we used to work together, a gentleman named Paul.
Okay.
Yeah. So people are like, this guy's an asshole. I was like, no, he's kind of cool. Blah, 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 blah. Turned it in, and he was like, no, I've only done a first pass, but it seems like you're definitely going to at least get meets requirements, if not exceeds. And then when I got my feedback, it was all wonderful. And yeah. So now I've been getting emails of, hey, you can come to Maryland and walk for graduation in December when they do it. But either way, I'll get like a diploma and this, that, and the other in about 3 weeks now, I guess.
Very cool.
Yeah. MBA, done.
Master Nate.
Yeah. So, yeah. It's basically just to put a comma MBA on my LinkedIn. I learned a lot. It was really great, and definitely met a lot of cool people. Because it is like everybody, like 1 in 6 or 1 in 5 folks are also veterans, and that was nice. But then the people who weren't were pretty cool too, and I got to do like a review of all the courses. And the one thing that stood out was back in February, so like months and months ago now. I was at a trade show in San Diego, and Professor Bonnie Peter called me, and I'm using the full name.
I was gonna say,
it's fine. It's
write that down. Or...
But she called me to say, hey, I looked at what you turned in, and because I was like traveling and stuff, I had just like bullshitted something, just like threw something together and submitted it to submit it. Because then if it's like doesn't meet requirements, then you get 2 weeks to resubmit.
Yeah.
And she was like, looking at your stuff, and I've seen what you've submitted before, obviously. And Mr. Pieper, this is just not up to snuff. This is not up to what I know you're capable of. And up to that point, there have been a lot of struggles because I didn't know that grad school was like way more lenient than undergrad stuff, where you can turn stuff in late and like they want to see you succeed. It's not like, how can we weed people out? It's like, where are the gaps? How can we help? Da, da, da.
Yeah.
And so there had been struggles prior to that. And she was like, I know you can be successful with this. I know from your previous stuff that you're a smart guy and all that. But this is not good enough. And I was floored. I was like, thank you so much for like caring enough to call me. And I saw her name on the caller ID. I was like, no fucking way. And actually at that trade show, UMGC, University of Maryland Global Campus, they prospect to veterans and in the military community, and it was a military trade show. So UMGC was there, and I was like, can I give props to a professor? And one of the people that was there was something of admissions, and I was like, yeah, absolutely. And it's like, here's what just happened. I was like literally like grateful and felt like that was a cool thing, not just for UMGC to do, but for like that professor specifically to do. So that was what I put in the review of the entire MBA process. I thought that was just like a nice little snapshot of it, and great experience. But I don't really know what I'm gonna do with it, so we'll see.
I mean, hey, you gotta know. Never have to re-get it.
Never have to re-get it. That's true. I used to have like PMP, project management professional certifications that you do have to redo every 10 years, and have not. Alright, so I got that. Birthday weekend. Talk a little bit about fantasy football.
Okay.
You got something?
My team suck. That's about it.
Sorry about it.
Yeah, my teams are designed to do better later in the season.
Oh, okay.
So I wasn't expecting to come out doing super hot right at the beginning. So now will that come to fruition? We'll see. But
my big tragedy of the season in our main league so far. It was dropping Puka Nakua to pick up a defensive player who's now on IR.
Yeah.
Who I would normally just drop, but like they got to come back from IR. They got to kick ass. Because
silly
Puka has just gone nuclear. He's got like more reception yards than like any rookie in the first however many games, which there have been like a lot of amazing wide receivers that have come before Puka Nakua. And Cooper Kupp should be coming back soon, so maybe that slows things down. Or maybe Cooper Kupp just lingers on the IR. Because I know you have him in the main. I've got him in another league. But I would
better on him. I need his ass. He's my second half push guy.
Yeah, but apparently Puka's the real deal. My notes for our league were that Jamie and Corey had the Iowa Syndicate, had 2 first-round draft picks, and Jamie is dead last, second to last, which is pretty bad. Jamie got Travis Kelce and Austin Eckler, and Eckler's just been out, so she's not doing well. Corey, however, is undefeated at 4-0.
That bastard. It's alright, I'm coming for him.
But you know what? You know what his 2 picks were in the first round? Stephon Diggs. Amazing, player, great pick. But his second pick in the first round was Derrick Henry. And instead of Derrick Henry, he could have gotten Saquon Barkley, Bijan Robinson, Tony Pollard, and he got Derrick Henry. Which I question.
That might be the play. I mean, Barkley's hurt.
Yep.
And especially this past weekend, I think Derrick Henry had a pretty strong showing. So he's getting up in years, so it just takes him a little bit of time to get rolling.
I think he's only like 12 or 13 touchdowns away from getting some touchdown benchmark that few people have ever gotten. Maybe like 200 touchdowns.
That's a lot of touchdowns.
Yeah. But wrapped up week 4. We're about to go into week 5. In
we go to Cinco.
In Jamie's league, me, and then I think Jamie, Corey, and then Ashley are the top 4 in the Iowa league. And then in our league, I know Ash and I were racing for most points last night. And I think I played Darren Waller, but she beat me. She had like 206 and I got like 204 points something.
Yeah, she's ahead of you. Well,
yeah. I got to do the recap. I meant to do the recap before we came over. Got to do the voice recording part, but from here I go to Walgreens and then home, and then I'll do that and send it over to you.
Okay. I should be able to have it up sometime tomorrow.
Cool.
Along with this.
Nice.
This should be my video editing day.
We've been crushing it with the recaps.
Yeah. I swear, though, all the time, like, I feel like... Because, I mean, I'm pretty sure I've talked about this on here before, but you write, like, the script as to what we're saying, and I just feel like sometimes you're just screwing with me. Like, you're putting a bunch of words together that shouldn't be going together, and they're, like, tongue twisters, and it takes me, like, 15 tries to be able to say it right, because it's also, like, I gotta hit this time frame, so you gotta measure out how quickly to say all these things, and you get all these weird names that, like, I'm having to go and, like, check the pronunciation so I don't get it wrong.
Were you not doing the trim feature before I showed you that?
I still don't do it. I don't think it saves me any time.
Then you don't have to like worry about the time and like fitting it right into the thing. You just record and you can say it like multiple times.
Well, either way, like it still needs, what I'm saying needs to be that amount of time.
Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't matter if I'm just stopping re-recording or just letting it go and then finally figuring out if I got it at the same time. But then if I let it keep going, then I gotta keep track of the time on, like, either I got to do it more mentally, like, oh, okay, I'm at 21 seconds now. I got to be done by 37. And then it just starts messing with my mind.
I really think you need to look into that more. Like the way you do it now, you're pressing record, you have to get it right, and then you stop pressing record, and that's it?
Yeah. It feels better that way. It feels more real.
Okay.
Shut up. No, I was complaining about you giving me tongue twisters. Don't turn this shit around on me.
You can see the stuff I write for myself, and obviously we all hear it. Like I think I'm pretty consistent in how I do it.
I don't ever read what you write. The first time I hear
you have to hear it though.
The first time I hear it is after I'm done recording all my stuff, and then I listen to it. But then listening to it, it's not the same as listening to it or like reading something and then trying to read it. Like just hearing someone say something like, okay, yeah, you should be able to say that, so that's fine. Like you don't actually write tongue twisters for me, but I was just saying.
There are names.
There was a name this last week that I definitely had to like go find a highlight clip of his so I could hear an announcer say his name, so I remember or I know how to say it. Cause
I can't remember who it was, but I do feel like
it was
when I sent it over, I was like, ooh.
It was like Danielle something, and it's spelled basically Danielle.
Yeah, Danielle Hunter. Yeah, but it's Danelle.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, whew, you gotta be careful.
It's like Lauren's MVP last week.
Mm-hmm.
Lauren didn't play a quarterback and won. Lauren, if you're listening to this, I don't know how you keep winning, but you just keep winning.
Love you, Lauren.
I've got one little bit of politics that's history, but that's also like hyper current events, like it just happened hours ago.
Mm-hmm.
But before we do that, everybody knows this is a football culture media podcast that is also a weather podcast.
This is very true. Can't believe it took us this long to get to that.
Days ago, you sent us something of what next Monday's going to look at, and on the way here, NPR was like, guess what, guys? It's going to be here for like Friday night.
Yeah, it's going to be here Thursday now, actually.
Nice.
Like, we got... Tomorrow we're going to have a high of 92, but then Thursday we got a 90% chance of storms with a high of 79, low of 66. And then Friday's still a little but then Saturday drops a high of 71, low of 53.
Amazing.
So it then goes back up into the 80s, but we're then getting consistent lows in the 50s and 60s. So it's definite change in the weather.
I went out this morning and I already know I gotta recalibrate because I had to tell myself this isn't cold. Stop saying it's cold. You should be grateful you feel anything other than warm swamp.
I mean, I was outside at like 6 a.m. today, and my phone said it was 68, and it felt 68, but 68 is not cold.
Nah.
Unless maybe you're like moving very fast in the air.
Just walking like, ooh.
I could totally see you doing that as you're walking around. Yeah, so weather. I think we made it out of the summer.
So are we playing disc golf again or what?
Yeah, I'm down.
You can swing your right arm without hurting your left arm?
Yeah.
All right.
I'm definitely at that point now. Like every day lefties doing more and more than it used to do that. And I'm not even hardly even telling it to do it. It's going back to doing it. So
I think we got that Mary Moore Seawright course, like at least we had gotten it, like we know what we're doing here.
Oh yeah.
But there's all kinds of courses up and around here that people love that are gonna be new to us.
Yeah. It's gonna be bad for me the first few times we go again. I'm definitely gonna throw my arm out. Yeah, we'll see. But we're getting back to that. Getting to disc golf weather. Getting to barbecuing weather.
Oh yeah.
Which I've been waiting for months now. I want to make some ribs so bad. I want to smoke everything. I want to smoke ribs. I want to do just burgers, but fully smoked. I want to smoke some chicken. Never really done that before.
Yeah.
It's just So many meats and so little smoke.
Yeah, man. I mean, every time I go to Costco, I walk by those briskets. I'm like, not yet, but soon. But now, yeah, definitely. You know what? I'm gonna call it. I'm gonna do a brisket this weekend
I mean,
because it's cooling down.
yeah, you got Saturday high 71, Sunday high of 74.
Mm-hmm.
So that's pretty perfect.
Nice.
Yeah. So what about this politics now?
Yeah. So
Let's get controversial.
we don't talk politics in the sense like AM radio does. You know, where it's
I'm
like,
better than you.
oh yeah, like the McAfee guys do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I'm better than you.
I try to come at it from like you might hate this, you might think it's the greatest thing ever, but this is like what is happening. And history was made today. Rewinding a little bit. Okay, rewinding a lot of it, but like 2 months ago, our like national credit rating was reduced from like the top tier to the second to top tier, and just all over the reasoning of it was too much brinksmanship, too much like you guys are huge like economic power, everybody looks at you for interest rates, everybody looks at you for like the dollar and what it does, but every opportunity you get, you come up to the last second, or like you've literally not funded the government for months on end. And because of that, there's like too much unpredictability, too much volatility, and again, too much brinksmanship. So, like, if you're going to have the top tier, you're not going to have those things. So you're second to the top tier. And get better, it was like a better fiduciary management and government, but it was specifically like economic conditions, like everybody's going through ups and downs. That's not why we're bringing you down. We're specifically bringing you down as a Standard & Poor's because of the like financial management of the government itself.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like, if you guys want to get back to the top tier, fix that. And that means things like the debt ceiling, raising it.
Mm-hmm.
Like every time since like 2012 that's come up, there's been like fights and brinksmanship and that kind of stuff over it. And then now the government like funding and budgeting itself, which we've gone into a continuing resolution, which, listener, if you don't know what that is, the federal government does a fiscal year that starts October 1st, where a lot of companies like follow the calendar year. A lot of companies start like February 1st. Everybody can do it differently. Government is October 1st is when like the fiscal year starts.
Mm-hmm.
And probably like every year for the past however many years, we've gone into continuing resolution, which means, hey, we don't have a budget, so nobody can start new stuff, but everything's funded the same as it was, last year.
Mm-hmm.
Until that changes. And there's two different bills. There's like the government, and then there's the National Defense Authorization, which is like all the DoD stuff. And once again, like very predictably, we came right up to the 11th hour of people, like certain Republicans don't want to fund Ukraine, but then also have like all of these other things that they want to fight over. And Democrats are like, look, Republicans, you guys are in charge of the House. You guys propose something, and some of us will vote for it, some of us will certainly vote against it, but it's on you guys to like actually put something forward. And the Speaker of the House, a gentleman named Kevin McCarthy, barely got his job because there's just so much chaos in that Republican caucus of who's going to lead the this caucus of folks that are Republicans that like my parents might recognize, but that's an increasingly shrinking slice of Republicans in the House specifically. Like in the Senate, they're there for 6 years. Totally different dynamic. It always has been of like chiller, cooler minds in the Senate than there are in the House, where there's sitting in that seat for 2 years at a time. And what like our parents would think of as like normal Republicans, that slice has gotten smaller and smaller and smaller. And the opposite, not the opposite, but then like you just have a fringe that is, some say it's 5, some say it's 15 House members that are totally fine with, if the government shuts down, that's a good thing. And their constituency and their way of thinking is the worse government is, like if it's shut down and it's chaos, then they're not making legislation, they're not spending money, and that's fine by us. for whatever reason of they don't like the policies, they don't like government. I'm not gonna. That is just the reality, and I'm not putting a value statement on those things. Me personally, in my personal life, have felt very similar to that. Well, I'll just fucking shut it down. But, especially when there's like very tangible results of that, not like the things that have always been true of like people can't get SNAP and TAMF and all the government aid that's federally funded, but like specifically that thing I was just talking about of we're trying to be global leaders here, and the global finance folks are like, you can't be a global leader if like every chance you get, you guys fight over money. But Kevin McCarthy did the thing that nobody thought he would do of, I'm going to look, if you guys are going to be all chaotic over there, I'm going to put something forward that the Democrats will vote for, which the Republicans, that especially probably most Republicans, but especially that small part of the Republicans are like, don't ever work with the Democrats, and if you do, we'll move to like unseat you as House Speaker. Mm-hmm. And that's exactly what Kevin McCarthy did. Mm-hmm. So it was like a little bit of a game of chicken of, we can't do nothing, we can't not fund the government, you guys need to work with us to figure something out that we can vote on as Republicans and send to the Senate and do the whole thing. And they were like, no. So McCarthy was like, all right, put forward, I think it's only like 45 days of funding bill. Mm-hmm. So not even a real funding bill. So we're still doing the thing we're not supposed to be doing. But a continuance, basically, of, all right, no continuing resolution, but instead, like, here's like 45 days of funding. Can we agree to that? House says sure, Senate says sure, Biden signs it. Since that happened over the weekend, because that's October 1st, my birthday, that was the weekend, there was that game of chicken of, are you guys really going to oust your own speaker? Like, are the Republicans really going to vote to kick out a Republican Speaker of the House? It's like, not... there have been, I believe, speakers of the House that have been kicked out before for like doing heinous shit. Yeah. But that was like, everybody was like, yeah, that's pretty heinous. Nothing like this. And just like hours before coming here, that's exactly what that small segment of the Republicans did, with some Democrats voting with them. Which, I have no idea who those guys are. Well, I'll look into that later. But that's a first. So now there's an interim Speaker of the House, but like constitutionally, he's out of the line of succession, so there's like a question mark after the VP in line of succession right now. There needs to be a proper funding bill that's up in the air, and we're right back to where we were January whatever, when Kevin McCarthy got elected to the Speaker of the House, of who's going to lead these people? Like, who, out of that like mess, who has the clout, who has the whatever to lead that Republican caucus. So we are Speaker of the House lists 95%. Mm-hmm. There's a guy in that seat, but it's totally a placeholder. Yeah. And that's where we are. And it's, again, not trying to say one side good, one side bad. I don't even like the sides thing and sidesism, because it's not like a binary to me. Mm-hmm. Far more complicated than that, and people just really want it to not be, and I'm like, nah, like, it really is. But that's what's going on, and that's, when you say that, like, we talk about, the way that I would like to talk about politics on here is not the, I have a predetermined thing I want to see happen, I'm gonna, like, say people are good or bad in the context of that. This is just, like, this is history. Like, history happened today. Mm-hmm. Trump going to trial, that's... I'm not saying it's good or bad, but it's fucking happening, and it is history. I think that it's, you can't deny the comedy of Trump wanted a trial by jury in this New York civil case that he's going through that has his entire financial future on the line. He wanted a trial by jury, and he's not getting it because his own lawyers checked a box saying, we want trial by judge. Not... hey, if you don't ask for a trial by jury, you're not going to get it. It was, which of these paths do you want to go forward? Trial by jury, trial by judge. And they put trial by judge. And that means that Trump's like entire financial future is in the hands of this New York judge that like famously does not like him. Literally sanctioned him today, saying that like you can't talk about Trump had gone on Truth Social and disparaged like some clerk or something that works for him. And this, like, other judges are, like, walking that line of First Amendment and, you know, he's running for president, so he should be allowed. This judge is like, don't fucking do that again, or you will go to jail. Which is totally within the rights of, like, don't ever go to trial. Don't ever be in the criminal justice system. But if you are, like, the judge has incredible powers over your personal liberty. So... history.
Yep. I'll just let you be the one to handle the politics, because I for one, I'm not fully on the AM radio talking heads level, but I'm ready to say a bunch of mean stuff about some people. But
I think, I mean, that's how I personally come at it, is like, I want, like, my family has people all over the place, and I want any of them to be able to come to me and ask my honest opinion on whatever. So I'm not saying that's how, like, I want the podcast to approach it, although I think I did literally say that. That's how I want.
I mean, I know you did say
that's how I want to approach it personally. But, I mean, you can say whatever you want.
I don't know. I mean, to me, like, it's not a matter of good and bad in politics. There's bad, and then there's fucking crazy. That's all we have right now. And... The Republican side has more crazy in it than bad. Democrats, to me, have more bad than crazy. And bad is better than crazy every single day of the week. Mm-hmm. So that's just... And if you do something wrong, you should have to go to trial and face up for it. So, yeah.
I like that bad versus crazy. It's very succinct and very... just...
I mean, because it is,
like...
like...
how you feel about it, yeah.
Like, I do recognize myself as a Democrat in the realm of, like, we kind of just have to, as Americans, kind of do that. Because if you just run straight down the middle, then that's just not how it works.
You know how I think about that?
But, well, go for it.
I think about it like Coke versus Pepsi. Like, if you drink a Coke, that doesn't make you, like, a Coke man, you know?
Well, no, the thing, like, I will always be for smart, logical decision-making. Now, if someone comes to that smart and logical decision and it's something I don't care for, at least they came about it the right way. Mm-hmm. If someone is just saying absolutely batshit crazy fake stuff just to push their agenda, that's crazy. Yeah. And I don't mess with that. Like, that's bad. I mean, no, that's crazy. That's not bad. That's worse than crazy.
That's worse than bad. It's crazy.
But, I mean, just to be into politics, like, the type of person it takes, right or left, to be a politician, you gotta be kind of a sleazebag, for the most part. Because the whole thing is just, it's about you. You're just selling yourself. You're just a personal salesman, and you're trying to get that seat for whatever you're running for. So you gotta be kind of a douchebag already, and... From what I've heard from a lot of people, a lot of these people in, like, government, like, in the House and even in the Senate and all those higher places, they're not the brightest bulbs on the tree. Like, they're not the Harvard scholars or any, like, the people that probably should be making the decisions that are running the biggest country in the world.
Yeah.
So, yeah, all politicians are inherently bad to me, for the most part. Mm-hmm. I mean, there's good to all of it, there's bad to all of it, and there's crazy to some of it. So, I don't know. And it's hard to... You see so much bad, and then you see the crazy against the bad, and it's just hard to even dig in deep enough around the crazy pool to decipher, okay, who isn't as crazy as these others? Like, it's... Because if you hit crazy level, like, that's bad. Like, there's really no coming back from crazy level. Like, once you get there. You can get from bad to okay to maybe even good, but you can't get out of crazy. Like, once you're in crazy, that's like, you're there.
It takes an abnormal person to walk back from things they've said and done publicly.
Like, you can't... I mean, but I hate that that's how it is. Like, I was just thinking in the non-political world, it's like Chris Brown. Like, you can beat the shit out of Rihanna and everybody sees, like, the damage on her and you can still go on to have a good career. Like, no, that should not be okay. Mm-hmm. If you go crazy and beat up our country for your own personal good, that's never going to be forgiven.
Yeah.
So...
I agree. I think that there's a couple things going on where, like you said, the politicians themselves not being the brightest bulbs. I think that's. I think there's a whole podcast behind this of there being that I mean the podcast that like we could do of there being a mismatch between like what representative democracy and the structure we put in place meant when the country was like 13 million people versus 330 million people, because it has become like politicians are a brand. And the thing I hate most, the reason I said the Pepsi Coke thing or Pepsi Coca-Cola thing, is the dumbing down of all the decisions into a binary. When it's like there's more than one decision that's an on-off. There's more than one decision that's a black-white. There's more than one decision that's left or right. We have like 360 issues that some of them are on-off. Most of them are, pick on a spectrum of how bad or how much or whatever. And that's far more complicated than what we've broken everything down to into a binary. And that forces like everything into that Coke versus Pepsi thing, where I might get a Coke, I might get a Pepsi, but I'm definitely not going to say that I'm a Coke man. I'm a Pepsi man.
No, I get that.
That's just a big like structural. Don't know what the hell we're supposed to do about that problem.
Yeah, I don't know. It's getting real hard. Like, I'm getting so tired of living through historic moments. Like,
that's the thing, is that this has been a structure that the confluence of the scale of what we do didn't fit the structure for a while, but then the mass media and how, like, all of our little silos got broken down to, like, we're one big national media market now, is just, like, accelerant to that structural issue that was there for a while. And it's been a couple decades now where different folks from different ideologies have, like, learned to adapt to that and give us reality TV president. And everything that means. Alright, I'm going to consider this a birthday gift. Letting me talk about that for a bit. Because it was exhilarating for me.
I could see the twinkle in your eyes.
I'm good.
Yeah, I don't have a KQC or anything this week.
They usually take us 15 to 20, and I don't think we want to go for...
Agreed.
Yeah. I'm going to go to Walgreens.
I'm going to go... I don't know, make dinner or something.
Cool.
Watch TV. I've heard that the prequel to Yellowstone is legit, so I'm going to see what's up with that.
When they're all out, I'll watch them in chronological order.
Yeah, I mean, you just said it. That's like a binding contract, so...
Yeah, but also there's going to be a Yellowstone 24-24, so look out for that.
I don't know, man. We'll see. But, yeah, if you made it to the end, thank you so much. We love you very much. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell.
Thanks for watching, everybody, because we have been getting more views, so keep doing that. I appreciate it.
Yeah, and we'll try to keep bringing the entertaining content. If you have any suggestions, sucks. We're going to just keep doing us. But have a great one. We love you.
Love you guys. Bye.